Coach, seniors. Most coaches seem to take senior night and make it memorable. Your thoughts as seniors, and how big is this tomorrow with senior day? Though they got obviously plenty of games left in front of them, hopefully.
Yeah, so. I think for us it's a little bit unique. Our first year and every senior's first year. So I think from just a coaching standpoint, it's like, an appreciation of these guys willing to, come and spend their last year to play for us and believe in what we were trying to get started. And I think that's, says a lot, for us that they believed in us. And then also a reflection on the year they've had and been able to put together. And all these seniors had different roles in that too, but all handled those roles incredibly well.
Remember of your senior day?
Ooh, that was a long time ago. You're asking a lot. I'm pretty confident we lost. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was certainly a different set of circumstances. I was a fifth-year senior, 30 miles from home, so you grew had maybe a longer, run there, with a lot of friends and family at that where. It's just a different time, for these seniors. That was a really long time ago.
They're memorable events. So, give us you got four of them, I assume four, plus managers and such. Give us a little insight on each of those four, just a sentence or two on each of the four and what they meant to the program.
Yeah, I think, we'll start with the obvious one, Javon. I think, what he's done for this team and this year, with the circumstances and things, I think it may be as good of an individual, season that I've been a part of, right up there. Certainly there's some others too, but you couldn't have asked a lot more from what he gave us this year. So just an incredible player. Eduardo. I think you look at him and the progress, that he made from even from June till now, like then the impact he's had, with his shot blocking and even a little bit of just his personality that he's given us in the locker room and in practice and things. Just got a fun personality that gives your team a little spirit and you certainly saw some of that the other night, with his bloody nose and whatever those things are called, all stuffed in there. So, really enjoyed it having him. Jaden Stone, he's been out for quite a while, and unfortunately won't be able to participate in senior night as he's still dealing with some things. Jake Auer, he's came with zero expectations of. He just wanted to be a part of it. It's like I'll be the great teammate, great scout team guy, and he's certainly done every bit of that and more. We've had to even use him at times to come in and play, which we had utmost confidence in. And then Toby Okani, I think he's had to give a lot, for this team to play a role that best helped our team, win, and he's been all about the team all year, and I certainly appreciate what he's had to do to get us to this point, and his versatility has been, something that's been, really an asset for us, both offensively and defensively.
One guy you know best, Joseph.
Oh, and then Joe. Yep, Joe's had an incredible, I think, second half of this season. He's as he's gotten healthier and healthier, you can see his confidence is back, got a little more pop in his step, and there's no doubt that we don't win a few of these games without him, on the team, and gave us that scoring punch in a few of these games, and even the last game, a huge three late in the game, but I just like the way he stuck with it throughout the year, and then you could see his playing time increased, each month, and now in conference play, he's someone that we need, as he's coming off the bench right now. He's giving us a lot of firepower. I think that's it.
With the guys like Joe, Javon, Eduardo, Toby, those are kind of the core seniors that have been in the rotation. if you go back to when you first get here, I mean, obviously you knew you had to rebuild a roster. You look at those guys. What did you sell those guys on? And did each four come with a different selling message, I guess, or was it the same message to all four?
Yeah, I think with all of them, when we were trying to put a roster together, when you didn't have a lot on the roster, right? Is what we were trying to do is make them all fit together, and trying to find the pieces that matched, from whether it be positional, 1 through 5, but then also like what do they do well from. Do they shoot it well? Do they defend? Do they rebound? And I think all those guys really kind of, as they came together, really found their roles and fit in them very, very well. And then we had to change roles a little bit with some injuries, and guys adjusted to that too. But I think when you have seniors that have played a lot of basketball, somewhere else in this instance, and then they got to come in and they're getting a whole new set of ideas and plays and the system, and to be able to all be willing to kind of give up maybe what they did before to learn something entirely new. I think it says a lot about them and their character.
They weren't exactly set in their ways.
Right, because that'd be easy to do after you've played somewhere for a long time. Like, hey, this is how I played here, and now we're asking you to do something maybe not completely different, just a little bit different. And they're all very willing and eager to learn. And what I loved about this group really all year is they just wanted to win, and that's all they really cared about. I think they've kept that their primary focus for a good portion of the year.
The idea of that, of bringing them in to win, how did you sell that? I mean, the program had a bad season the year before, and so now it's a whole new roster, a whole new coaching staff. Nobody's ever been here before. How did you sell winning to them?
Yeah, I think part of it was believe in yourself, and then believe in the others that we're putting around you. But I think at the end of the day, winning's a mindset, and if you get, like we told them, we got everybody else is coming here because they want to win too. So we have a guy we're going to call them winners. They want to come and win, and when everybody's got that same mentality, it gives you a chance, because that's what becomes a priority. And when you make that at the top of the list, then you give yourself a chance every night.
Speaking of the other night, have you ever seen a nosebleed as bad as Eduardo's was?
No, I was like, man, we're gonna have to bring some leaders out here right now. I mean, it was bleeding pretty good. There was no way I thought he was coming back into that game. And when I saw him at halftime with, some stuff stuffed in his nose, and he's like, "I'm good, coach." I'm like, I was like, "You don't look that great." But yeah, I was like, I told him I'm gonna get a second opinion on that. I'm gonna check with Doc first before I let you just say you're good. But yeah, that was as good of a nosebleed as I've seen in a long time.
Coach, senior day can be fairly emotional leading up to the game. How have you in the past maybe planned tomorrow to kind of handle those emotions from the turnaround, honoring the seniors, to then having to tip off and play?
Yeah, and we've had senior nights before games. We've had them after games. So for this particular one, we're going before, and senior night can go both ways. Those emotions can overcome some guys sometimes, and it's hard for them to really get engaged. And then the other way, sometimes senior night can be, you see some extraordinary performances of like, this is my last game, and you see, just leave it all out there that one last time at home. So I'm hoping for that side, obviously. But I think from just the emotion standpoint, like I'm meeting with them all today before practice, just to talk to them about senior day, and obviously thank them for all they did, because on tomorrow there's so much going on, and you want to make your primary focus about the game. But I think our guys will embrace it and be excited about it, and they know this is their last time that they get to walk out in front of a crowd like this, with college students and supporting them and their families and things. So I'm excited for them, and I know they'll be excited to play.
What are the challenges that UCF present?
A lot, yeah. They can really score. I mean, that's you look at them throughout the whole season, but even specifically more this back half of the season, they're putting up huge numbers offensively, and having won 3 out of their last 4, they're playing really well down the stretch here, and they're hard to keep off that scoreboard.
And this might be a little bit difficult to ask a coach to speak for the players, but like, they've all been here a year, not really that long of a time, really. Do you think they've felt a connection with the community, though, in that short amount of time?
Yeah, I think it's continuing to grow. I think you can see it every game, and that's they've certainly been very welcomed here, which is they all comment on that, how welcoming everybody's been to them and treated them well, and as we said, like everybody's really in their first year outside of a couple guys that were here last year. So I think from them their experience has been great, and I think it's something they'll look back on and finally remember.
I saw a guy that, not a guy, an analyst that analyzed what was expected out of the guys on your roster, and that your team was probably one of the most overachieving teams in the nation. Do you feel like you overachieved, or, with what you brought together here, or how do you see what you did?
I don't think we overachieved, unachieved anything. Our goal the whole time is to maximize what we thought we could do and try to do that every day. And I think this group has given us incredible effort and focus the entire season. We obviously think there was more, out there that we would have liked to have won. And when we look back on a few games, but that's probably the case every year. You always look back at the ones you could have, should have. But I just love this group and the way they've come and fought every day and appreciative of that mindset.
Is it better for this to be the final regular season game and you're playing a team for the first time this year, a conference opponent for the first time this year? How different is that? Is that kind of, it's a strange scenario, right?
Yeah, and it is a little challenging. Just we're coming off a double road trip, and we traveled back the day after the game, and we weren't allowed to use that as an off day, so we had to take our off day yesterday. So we had just a one-day prep for this game as well. So that's made it even more unique. It'll be a little different if you just played them 3 weeks ago and you just refresh. Hey, here's the scouting report and things. So our guys got a big day today from a prep standpoint of just this one, but it is unique, especially the last game of the season. When you haven't seen them.
Since you can't count that travel day back, do you try to do a little bit of video head start on the trip back, or?
Yeah, we did some of it before we left. Did some video work and to get through that stuff, so today could be a little shorter on that side of it. So they already have a little bit of kind of an idea of the players and what they do and things, and then today will be all on the floor, obviously.
Go back, but do you miss the days when you had a player 4 or 5 years? When you were a player, your teammates were probably with you throughout much of it. Those days are gone, but do you sort of miss them?
Yeah, I think there's still that'll still take place, and it won't be maybe not your whole roster anymore, just with the portal and things. But I still think there's a space where that's going to happen. I think you're still going to see, guys that go to a place and then they enjoy their experience and they stay there the whole time. But right now, as we're going through it, just kind of the beginning era of this new era, you're seeing a lot more where there's not guys that have been there for 4 to 5 years. So,
with this first group, specifically the seniors, will there be a legacy tied to them, do you think? The fact that they came in, didn't know the area, didn't know the school, didn't know the coach.
Sports writers.
Didn't know the sports writers. They come in, overcome adversity, lose an important teammate in the middle of the year, still beat Kansas, still beat, the overall story. Do you think there'll be a legacy tied to this first group?
I do in a way that I think people really appreciate how they play. And I think because of that, people will remember this team and the season they had and some of the really good moments, as you mentioned, a few of them, I think. But most importantly, I just think the fans really appreciate what these guys give every night out on the floor. They see the effort, they see the unselfishness, they see the enthusiasm that they play the game with, and I think when you talk to people, within the community, that's really what they get excited about and appreciate the most about this group.
UCF's given up a lot of points too. They've scored a lot. So how do you, try to attack that in terms of maybe not getting into a track meet, but being selective and knowing that there will be some opportunities in transition?
Yeah, and we need to be aggressive as well. And there are some of those opportunities. You just got to take advantage of them the best way we can. So that's the hard part about a team like them is throughout the year it's no secret we've had some games where we've struggled to score. So we got to make sure we do our job defensively so that it doesn't get away from us at that end, and then also convert on as many of those opportunities as we can offensively to make sure that we're continuing to keep pace.
Back to Eduardo at Utah, what kind of a lift does that provide for his teammates when you said yourself you didn't really expect him to come back in that game, and the commentators didn't. So when you see him out there, what does that kind of do for the rest of the guys?
It was pretty good when he caught his lob in the second half. I mean, even coming out of the locker room, the guys were, I think they were really just like, hey, that's pretty cool, man. Like, he's going to fight it out. Like, I mean, it was a unique way to stop a nosebleed. We had all four of them. I don't know if that was just for effect or what we had going there, but that type of, hey, I want to play for my teammates. I think that said a lot to them, and I think it gave us a little boost just from a little bit of the spirit standpoint.
No after effects. You got wear one of those clear masks like you used to see in the '80s, or
no, he's good. I don't want to speak. I don't think it's broken, but I think no mask for Big E tomorrow. I don't believe.
Obviously not for this year, but what have you seen out of some of those guys redshirt? Have you seen the progress you wanted to see?
I think they've all done a good job. I mean, they're in there working every day, so that's what you want to see from them.
Coach, you've been fairly energetic on the sidelines this season. It's grabbed the attention of fans. It's also your last home game this season. Can fans expect you to also leave it all out on the floor as well?
Yeah, I mean, I try to give it my full effort every night. So, whatever that is, from that standpoint, it just happens. So it's not something. That's not one of those you draw up. You just kind of coach your team, and whatever happens from that standpoint happens. But I know we're excited. It's a sold out crowd. A big game for us, just in a lot of different ways as you're getting ready for the conference tournament. So I think you'll get a great effort from everybody.
You a bracketologist? You have anybody in the staff that is to say another win will move us up here, or win after that moves us here? Anybody pay attention to that?
I mean, Messerly, like he gives me a headache with all the stats he's giving me. I got about 300 scenarios, I think, that he's tried to run by me. So I was like, I'll just call you at midnight tomorrow night, and ask you what's going on.